So the things come here about investing the RSP contribution or the tax TFSA money. So it is investing either in anything, GAC or T-bills or bonds or stock, anything, and any return that comes, that will be taxed, and under RSP, how it will calculate. If I make money contributing in RSP and investing that money.
In RSP or compared to
in RSP. First, I need to know RSP. So I will actually, if you clarify investing in both,
okay,
how the tax will be calculated.
Okay, so we
on return. Yes.
So we used, for example, the $100,000 income earner before, so they could put their money into an RSP, and let's say they put in $10,000. You're at a rate of 43%. So, well, say just round down, say it's about 40% for simplicity of the calculation. They get the $4,000 tax break. Whereas if they put another $10,000 in TFSA, they would have zero tax break. Yet down the road, when they take that $10,000 plus whatever it grew to out of a TFSA, they pay nothing. And when they take the money out of the RSP, they pay tax on it. So what you're probably going to ask me is, which is better, right?
Well, the question comes is, like, I understand, and I think this viewer will agree with me, this is better to put money in TFSA than RSP. But one thing that I am not getting any tax bracket, tax deduction by contributing in TFSA, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now, let me ask you a question. I think it could be politically wrong or correct, okay? But the question is, the RSP is over 60 years. It was introduced by Government of Canada, 60 years, right? It was very popular. Then, all of a sudden, in 2009, government introduced TFSA. So my question, is that RSP lost its ground as a popularity, or why actually government decided to introduce TFSA all of a sudden?
Well, if we look at the politics, and I know this is not a politics show, but Stephen Harper was the prime minister at the time. I think his government, one thing they wanted to do is help them get votes by actually saying, hey, here's a program that we're bringing in. It's going to allow Canadians to have more tax-free money. There really wasn't a catch to it. It was a program that it was designed to have people have money that was not taxable over a long period of time and stimulate Canadians into saving money that they don't normally save. And some people will ask me, what's better? Is it TFSA better? Is the RSP better? Well, if you have, like, I actually have both. A lot of people have both because the TFSA is very good over the long term without worrying about what taxes they're going to pay. But a lot of us don't think as much of the long term. And for the RSP, it gives you that tax break right now, and it can be very good in retirement if you are indeed in a lower tax bracket.
So if we think about our subject of talking today, the topics that we were discussing about the retirement, right? So for retiree or retirement perspective, what do you think is better, RSP or TFSA?
Excellent question. You do have to do an analysis on yourself. The key to see which is better is if, for example, as a general thought, if you're in a lower tax bracket now than you'll be when you plan to withdraw the money, then the TFSA is better. If you're going to be in a higher tax bracket now than you are in the future, then the RSP would work better. And also, the RSP is usually best used, other than the home, it's usually used either
home by plan,
or retirement. Now, a TFSA, it's more liberal because that can be used for almost anything. You want to substitute your daughter's wedding, you want to substitute her school, have some extra money there, you just need it for a vacation.
Or emergency access in the fund. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Which, by the way, I should say can work against you too, because one of the things people don't like to do is be penalized. If you save for retirement in an RSP and you know you're going to be paying tax, you'll think twice about taking it out, which is better for your long-term future. So, but each savings pool, it has its place.
Well, so I mean that is coming at the end of the day, okay, that you are paying the taxes on RSP anyway. It is tax deferral, not tax avoid.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Right. So this is a good point here, I guess, viewers. We have to remember one thing, and Tyler agreed with me that RSP is tax deferral, not tax avoid. And we'll talk about that point just after a little while. Tyler, now coming back to the point of RRSP, what is the age limit on RRSP?
Well, the last year that you can contribute to an RSP is the year that you turn 71. So, for example, if you were born in, what would it be, 1950, then this year, December 31st, is the last year that you can put money into RSPs. After that, this year, you have to either convert it to RIF, annuity, or cash.
When you are transferring your RSP into RIF, right? Now, when you are transferring your fund in a RIF, now you are paying taxes. So what would be that tax?
Well, it's based on your income. So, for example, if you, and this is where people sometimes don't understand how much tax they may or may not have to pay in the future. So if you have a relatively small income and you're getting the RIF, you might pay 20% tax on that. And this is where you can have a huge tax liability. When one person dies and they have an RSP or RIF and they have a spouse, then their RSP can go to the spouse, tax deferred as well. But when the spouse dies, then all that money's taxable. And it's considered a lump sum withdrawal in the year you pass away. So even though yearly someone might not be taking that much out of RSPs, imagine taking $1 million out of the RIF. That would be a big tax liability. So people can lose up to around half their money into the.
So, but why people has to take that $20,000 $1 million out from RRSP if they don't need it?
While they're living, they don't.
Yeah.
But the estate, the way the estate's taxed is, it's taxed.
And that will come the estate planning.
That comes in the state, like you said, that's another show.
Yeah.
But people should realize that. And what you can do, good financial planning can identify that. So if you have a couple that plans to live to age 95, you can figure out if it's better to take a bit more out of the RIF, even if you don't need the money, and invest it somewhere else so that the long-term tax consequences are.
So the goal is here that defer your taxes, because right now at your 35, 40, 50, you are in higher tax bracket. So you are contributing in RSP. So you are deferring the amount that you are contributing. You are deferring that amount at your age when you are in lower tax bracket, and when you take the money out, you are paying low tax. Am I correct?
That's the idea.
That's the idea. Okay, all right. So now we understand that when you are taking the money out from your RSP at the end, by putting into RIF, you are paying low tax.
You're paying low tax, although you, as I was saying before, you may have a situation where down the road your estate would pay a significant amount of tax. And that's where you really have to go through your plan and put tax planning into your overall plan.
Okay, now as I retired, I put money into RIF. Now I have a golden retirement. My wife is still not retired, and she has RSP. So what is the consequences here?
Well, you can actually base a spousal RSP on the spouse's age. So I sometimes see people where one spouse is significantly, let's just say in your situation, may not be the case, but say you're 15 years older than your spouse, you can actually past age 71 contribute to a spousal RSP in for her, and she can keep contributing based on until she is 71.
Well, here is one question that's just clicked my mind. Okay, I don't know if it is it's a question. There's no right or wrong, but anyway, the question is, if I have a life insurance, okay, and the insurance, there's a two-part maybe. There's one is investment part in our life insurance. So when I retire at my age 70, I got a lump sum from my insurance, let's say $100,000, or right? So is that money will be taxable?
In almost all cases, no, unless you have a very, very heavily funded insurance with a lot of cash value. But life insurance, term insurance, almost always the insurance proceeds are non-taxable unless it's a very, there's two main types of insurance, and you probably don't want to go in huge detail in this show, but
yeah.
The term insurance, which is usually temporary, cheaper for younger people with young families, that amount, you just pay your insurance premiums. That's non-taxable. Whole life for the most part is too, but you can have ones that have very large, that you put very large amounts in. Because what some people will do is they'll identify, we were talking about the RIF and how much tax you're going to pay in the future. Well, if you have a situation where you know you're going to have an estate of $500,000 taxes that you'll pay when the surviving spouse passes away, well, if you could buy life insurance, which would pay for those taxes and pay, relatively speaking, pennies on the dollar, like a lot less than the payout of insurance, would that be worth considering? So we walk people through to see if something like that makes sense.